Hello everyone, Juxtaposition here. How you doing today? Be sure to get one of these Juxtaposition 1 coffee mugs so that you can wake up in the morning with your favorite coffee drink and or in the afternoons have an adult beverage because as you know my topics are brutal truth. This is the channel of brutal truth. All right, so today's video is going to be entitled as follows. Atmospheric haze, comma, MEMS, comma, MIMOS, and smart dust. You got that? We're going to call it atmospheric haze, MIMS, MIMOS, and smart dust. That's the topic of today's conversation. You know, over there at YouTube, where poppycock, mendacity, and balderdash reign supreme, there is a podcast creator by the name of Juan Brown. He has a channel called Blanco Lirio regarding aviation safety content creation. He's a former military pilot of Air Force jets, light aircraft, and today he flies vintage airplanes. And this gives him the status of being an aviation expert. He has 550,000 subscribers at the Google Alphabet owned YouTube Poppycock Censorship channel. That's right, that's what YouTube is. And if you are a content creator with 500,000 plus subscribers, then you're the chairman of the board of the Poppycock Institute, which Juan Brown is. I followed his channel for approximately 8 years or so. He's been around since 2007 in the social media influencing sphere. Anyone who could get through COVID without getting censored, banned, deleted, or or terminated is part of the enemy, in my opinion. That would make the United States Air Force, which is NATO, and NATO is the enemy, and that makes Juan Brown the enemy. Juan Brown is the enemy. He's the enemy of truth. He's the enemy of truth. He'll tell you about the Oroville Dam. He'll tell you about the Yuba River and the South Fork of the Yuba River, Nevada City, Marysville. He doesn't really dwell too much on NATO Air Base Beale, which I've personally been to at least a dozen times in my life. Plus, I've been on the dirt road, often referred to as the superhero from the United States Air Force, Chuck Yeager Road. I'm not sure where Juan Brown lives, either Nevada City or Penn Valley or Rough and Ready, California, or if he lives in Marysville, Yuba City, or if he lives in Wheatville. Don't really know if it's Grass Valley. Don't know where he lives. Don't care. I take him with a grain of salt. He did brag that he got the COVID vaccine when that came out. That makes him a completely distrusting person. Anyway, one of my many problems I got with Juan Brown. He does have a nice personality. That makes him dangerous, in my opinion, because he's spewing lots of poppycock and concealment. He pretends to be an expert in airplanes and Air Force jets, but he's clueless about the breathable airspace. He has never mentioned ever smart dust, MIMS and MIMOS, and messages, which pollute the sky. And the military has an explanation for it. You know, Jimi Hendrix used to call it purple haze, but the Air Force called it atmospheric haze. In meteorology, haze is considered an atmospheric phenomenon. It is caused by dust, smoke, or other dry material particulates which are suspended in the air, which will obscure visibility and clarity of the day sky. All right? At night, it obscures light emitting diode or LED lights as well. Okay, sources of this atmospheric haze include as follows: industrial pollution, vehicular emissions, wildfires, volcanic activity, and agricultural practices such as stubble burning harvested field debris. This haze can appear brownish in color, bluish, or grayish. And of course, Juan Brown seems to be clueless that it can be silverish too. like a silver star for the Air Force Silver Star. You can have the sky today is the color of silver. That's the color of aluminum, you dope moron. Aluminum. If you can't see aluminum chalk in the sky and you have a pilot's license and you were a military pilot, then you're dumber than a box of hammers, okay? I don't have a pilot's license. I never flew in the military, but I've been on over 16 Air Force bases and I have worked with, directly spent time with SR 71 spy pilots whilst they were doing terrorism missions. I said terrorism missions using a spy plane. Yeah, you can use the afterburners to blow out windows on the ground. Who knew that a spy plane can be a terrorist vehicle? Anybody who's in the military, Marines, Navy, Army, Space Force, or the Air Force, is in the murdering of people pacification business. Either you're directly murdering people, you're frightening people, you're blowing out their eardrums, you're blowing out their windows of their office buildings, like in Managua, Nicaragua, or like, for example, a state funeral, for example, and you throw a sonic boom, or you fly over my house with a helicopter, which has already been done 6 times today at approximately 800 feet of elevation. You are an enemy of humanity. Hey, Juan Brown, what do you say, pal? What do you say? You got 550 clueless clown subscribers, and you don't know about the blinding glare in the sky, that the sun has been weaponized using the aluminum chalk, which are MEMS, micro electrical mechanical sensors. Right, they send and receive, and they can blow your plane right out of the sky. And if you're vaccinated, like you say you are, Juan Brown, Blanco, Liria, Rio, if you are vaccinated, they can give you a manic episode or a acute toxic rodent dropping stroke, heart attack, seizure, and your little airplane come flying right out of the sky and face plant into the Orville Dam pond, right? Because today, atmospheric haze are smart dust. This is an education designed specifically for people like Juan Brown, who has been piloting for over 40 years and doesn't know anything whatsoever to do with the breathable air space, that he is tethered to the cloud 24/7, that Juan Brown is vaccinated, that he has a bio-cyber interface in his body, and that he is ingesting huge amounts of industrial pollution from Coast Aluminum, Rand Corporation, DARPA, Joy Weiss, Christopher Pitster. I'll bet Juan Brown doesn't know who Jennifer Doudna is, or who Jamie Kate is, or who Rachel Horowitz is. I'll bet he doesn't know that he's breathing in CRISPR, Cas9, gene editing, DNA modification. But that makes Juan Brown fully augmented, and it makes him compliant with the dogma and misguided belief system of anybody over at YouTube. YouTube is for the suckers. If you're smart, you get on over to my channel and get educated, because there's nothing but confusion, chaos, and bald-faced lying going on. Jimi Hendrix had a song, and it was entitled Purple Haze. I'm pretty sure Jimi Hendrix did not write this song. It was written by CBS Columbia Records. Anyway, it's a multi-layer song attributed to Jimi Hendrix, who, as you know, was murdered at age 27 in West London. The song's origins are from, again, Columbia Records for CBS. That's the evil eye of Horus, the left evil eye, the all-seeing, unblinking evil eye, the eye that you see on top of the pyramid behind your $1 bill. That's the song written for Jimi Hendrix, entitled Purple Haze, 1967. This song was played on the radio, and it is about his personal experiences involving voodoo-like spells, like the kind that Juan Brown is under. He is under a human augmentation spell from Geneva Global Governance, Agenda 2030. That is the Blanco Lirio channel. Despite what Juan Brown believes in, the fact of the matter is that his denial that there's an atmospheric haze caused by smart dust is the reaction of a psychedelic delusion. All right. You should not be relying heavily on people with pilot's licenses who can't see, who are blind as a bat, who don't understand that atmospheric haze today is not caused by wildfires. It's not caused by volcanoes. It's caused every single day, every 10 minutes, approximately 90 to 100 times a day in and around Placer County, and the areas where Mark Brown flies are totally and utterly polluted over Lake Folsom, Auburn Ravine, Auburn, Butte County, Chico, California, um, Feather River, and Quincy, and Tahoe City, for example, Truckee, Tahoe City are fully polluted. The Lake Tahoe Airport is fully polluted with smart dust, MEMS and MIMOS. MIMO means maximum input, maximum output, sensors sending and receiving of MEMS. MEMS are micro electromechanical sensors. And Juan Brown is a meme himself. Because he's vaccinated, he sends and receives signal. Whether he's carrying a cellular phone or not doesn't matter. He's part of the smart dust 7G architecture. Juan Brown and his channel are about tethering humans to the cloud 24/7 and believing in poppycock that there's no such thing as smart dust when there's only smart dust in the skies above. There are no pilots anymore. Most planes are remote controlled flown. You don't need a pilot to fly a helicopter. You don't need a pilot to fly a vintage airplane today. You don't need a pilot to fly a C-5 or a KC-135 or a KC-10 extender or a KC-47 Pegasus. You don't need a pilot to fly an F-14 or an F-15 Tomcat or an F-35 or a Boeing or a General Dynamics or a Northrop Grumman fighter jet. There's no need to have fighter jets anymore. Today, we have photonic weapons, we have ultrasonic weapons, and we have EMF, magnetic resonance weapons. You do not need Juan Brown to pilot an airplane in 2026. We've crossed over. We're in 60 terahertz submillimeter waves using 7G technology, using MEMS and MIMOS, messaging, smart dust, LED lights, smart meters, ring cameras, and bots in the paint. And I just want everyone to know that just like Jimi Hendrix saying purple haze, today we have a problem with atmospheric haze. And it's a real big problem because I've spoken to a number of pilots in the last 4 years since this program is up to over 128,000 sorties in my area in under 4 years. In under 4 years. I basically have 35,000 sorties over my town annually, and about 1/3 of them dump the dust, and the other 2/3 scintillate and excite the particulates that cause atmospheric haze, and the glare of the sun, which is a form of human augmentation to blind your eyes and to get on your skin and your skin. And this material, this dust, becomes biosensors, and you'll have a biocyber interface just like Juan Brown has with his COVID vax and whatever booster shots that he may or may not have received for Omicron or bird flu or monkeypox or mad cow disease. That's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Do like and share my video. I do not have 550,000 subscribers. I'm more like 17,000 subscribers. So I'm in the little sandbox. I'm not in a big fat sandbox like Juan Brown is, where he's concealing material facts, which is Switzerland NATO weapon systems known as MEMS and MIMOS and smart dust. Shame on you. Shame on you, Juan Brown. Shame. You should revoke your 13-striped Swiss flag that you think's an American flag and demo all your relationship medals with the United States Air Force, which, by the way, hey, Juan, in case you didn't know, no such place as the United States. There is no U.S. Air Force. There's NATO, and there's Geneva Global Governance. Thank you for listening and learning. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye now.